Joining us now, an all-star real estate panel, author and analyst Dani Babb, Alan Bachman, CEO of Amerifund Home Mortgage, and from Miami, Peter Zalewski. He is of Condo Vultures Realty. Dani, is the government helping at all to clear the housing market?
Not in this particular program. In September, it was also one. So since September, it's apparently been zero. I'll tell you what I have found, specifically from banks, is that they are saying they are modifying mortgages because they're getting incentivized with that $1,000 to $2,000 bonus from the government under the TARP program. So that is where it is helping. But the best thing is the low rates, which are allowing people to use traditional refinances. You
know, of course, the question of redefaults is one that's really up at the forefront now, because we find after 6 months, more than 50% of the modified loans, modified mortgages do redefault.
That's right. I think what you're finding now is that the interest rates are helping us out greatly. But the government has done, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have done some good things. They've increased the loan limits. And so that's really helped. They've got a new conforming, it's called an agency conforming loan. So anybody from $417,000 to $625,000, which now they might be raising that to $729,000. So that's actually helped some of the jumbo loans with people that can't get jumbo loans. So we are able to finance those. We're also able to, we're very busy in terms of the average refinancing.
But Peter, it seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems to me what the government's most involved in trying to do is to prevent people like you, prevent the vultures from getting their hooks in the carcasses of these foreclosed homes. They're trying to push off the inevitable, and they're losing. Am I right?
You're absolutely right. They're losing. What's effectively happening is, if you just take a typical condominium or a street in South Florida, where there's one house that was purchased for $500,000, another one that was purchased for $600,000. The person in the $500,000 house was probably an investor who skipped out on the loan, let it go bad, let it go into foreclosure. Even if you're the person with the $600,000 house and you go to get a loan modification under the government's programs, what do you really have to salvage? Because that $500,000 house where the investor was is probably going to trade on the market today at $200,000. So why even modify? It makes no sense. It makes more sense to give it back, turn around, and buy something under a subprime type of loan if you can get your hands on it, which is, i.e., hard money.
So Dani, despite all the money that the government's been throwing at this, it's like somebody putting up their hand to hold back a tsunami.
Yeah, well,
you can't do it. I mean, the tsunami is all the market forces that are trying to clear the system.
Exactly. That's the capitalism. And the private sector actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. We should allow and encourage the vultures, investors, I don't care who the heck buys this stuff, to come in and get the inventory off the market. When the supply drops, we're going to get back to equilibrium.
Absolutely. I mean, that's part of the whole process here. We've been here before, and that same thing happened when the RTC took over in 1991.
With the S&L crisis.
The S&L crisis. And that's exactly what needs to happen here, and it is happening to some extent. And hopefully at some point the hedge funds will get involved and start to bolster up.
But Peter, you know, if anything, the hedge fund is now the enemy of the government. You know, they're coming out with all these excuses against the hedge funds, but that's what we need to help clear things out right now.
Yeah, we've actually had since December, we've had 4 bulk transactions occur where we're talking dozens and hundreds of units in a building that have moved to individuals. These are private equity investors. These are more so than a hedge fund, if you will. And what you're seeing is people are willing to go in and spend the money and buy the good quality product at a deeply discounted price. And much to the shock of many people, once these bulk buyers have come in and acquired the properties, they've actually stabilized the properties, and now individuals feel much more confident going in and buying the remaining units, if there are any, because now they know that they have a stopgap, if you will. They have a benchmark. Someone who's going to be able to pay the maintenance day in, day out. It's the buildings that have the 50% unoccupied. Those are the ones that are really in trouble.
As long as they keep interest rates low right now, I think that's going to be the key, because I think what David is saying is that what Peter is saying, is that, you know, as long as these people will come in, there will be purchasers to buy those things, but the interest rates have to remain low, and they got to remain low for long enough.
And this is in the conventional market. It's really important to note the difference here, because anybody that's above the above the 729,750 value, 417,000, the rest of the market is going to have a really hard time getting a loan right now. I called 19 banks, 18 of them weren't doing the jumbos.
Wow. By the way, Peter, I got to ask, where does the term bulk buyer come from?
Originally?
Yeah.
I don't know, Costco?
Yeah, but these bulk buyers are out there, right, in big numbers.
Well, we submitted 3 letters of intent this week on bulk buyers. None of them are out of South Florida. All of them were coming out of the Northeast, and we had one out of Montreal.
I heard bulk buyers. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Finish your thought, Peter.
Well, what I was going to say is one of the things that we're starting to see emerge is some of the private equity, and this is individuals who maybe get together and they want to try to diversify their portfolio. Some of them are actually starting to talk about real estate as a hedge against inflation in year 2, year 3 if hyperinflation were to occur. And if they can take advantage of some of these record low interest rates, it might be a nice little hedge for them. Whether it's true or false, I don't know, but we're starting to hear that. We didn't hear that 2 or 3 months ago.
Real estate as a hedge against inflation. That's where we've come. Good to see you guys. Go ahead, finish up quickly, Peter.
No, I was just going to say, because of the record low interest rates that we're seeing right now.
All right, guys. And coming up on deck, location, the top small cities to start a new business. Power rankings coming up. And we'd like your take on the big issue. Capitalism, better than socialism? Is that a buy, a sell, or a hold? Text us at 369-249. Your answer's coming up.